Hello. This is one of the 4 videos that the backers of my Kickstarter, Stibble's Codex of Companions, achieved. So here we are, and here's my video a long time after the fact. But now everything's actually done, so I can talk about it at full length. First off is the HYDRA puck. These cute multi-headed creatures spawned from the severed heads of a colossal HYDRA, and they kind of just run around tiny ponds like they own the place. The idea for them came from a tiny little HYDRA that had the same like body size and mannerisms as just an angry waterfowl. And another part of it is that their heads just constantly fight with each other because that's what most monsters with a bunch of heads do. But this illustration just made them super cute. So in your game, just feel free to go in either direction. They stand at about 2.5 feet tall, can have anywhere between 2 and 6 heads, and act like angry little geese that just stomp around and try to eat anything smaller than themselves. They're not very smart, and they're not very social. They're kind of just like tiny dragons. So I took the creative liberty and made them dragons. Because when you write and publish your own content, you can just do that. So that's cool. Next up is the GUMMYBEAR OOZE. I can explain. So I was hungry, and that's it. These things are like a cross between living food, zombies, and the good old OOZE. They devour their victims a lot slower than other oozes, and they just kind of give you a hug until you get eaten. The normal ones are meant to be swarm creatures that dungeon masters can use in random crazy wizard encounters and stuff. And the main reason for that is because when they get chopped up, they don't die. They turn into these segments. And they have the ability to pick up fallen comrades and just merge body parts, so they can be multicolored at random. Like just have a blue arm and a yellow gummy bear, or the one with the little heart in it that's attached to the other one. You could do a lot. I think if you manage to befriend one, it'd be really cool to like splice up another one and just have a whole like ooze mural inside of its chest, just like a painting or a figure. Or you could just like put cherries in it every once in a while, keep it fed, make it look festive. But as a non-companion, and the highest challenge rating monster in the book, is like the 5-pound gummy bear version of them. This is the huge amalgamation. It's a 10-foot tall gummy bear that throws other smaller gummy bears at you. Moving on. I shut the door and I didn't know one of my cats was outside, so she's just in here playing with her tail. Hi, Mystic. The camera's on autofocus, so that was bad. And now it just might not be where it was. That's cool. Another one of my favorites are the cactal folk. I think these guys came later in production when I just had a placeholder for a type of plant monster and I wrote in cactus at one point and then I had to revisit it, and here we are. When I did finally come back to it, I did some research into different cactus families and some Native American cultures. I definitely simplified both aspects. But eventually I came up with a benevolent tribe of Opuntia, or prickly pears, and an aggressive tribe of Echinopsis spockiana, or the golden torches. So the desert-bound tribe of Opunti gives you healthy fruits and housing, and the Echine will just throw spears at you for trespassing. I thought that they'd be really cool for like a one-shot desert campaign, or a little filler session for the party to regroup and get supplies for whoever they help, like whichever side they team with. I don't know, it'd be cool. Next up, and one of my stronger favorites in this video, is the Yetling. Added and developed thanks to a stretch goal, these things are based on the Migo, or fungi from Yugoth in Lovecraft lore. Migo, or maybe Migao, is the Tibetan word for Yeti. Yeti, Yetling. The illustration is incredible for how hard it was to direct. I think I asked for the body of a praying mantis, with the proportions of a wasp, 4 legs and 2 upper arms that end with claws and pinchers, and mantis shrimp coloration, with 6 antennas instead of its eyes. And they did a fantastic job. Interesting tidbit, they're kind of like mushroom field medics that look like insects. And ironically, they're the only other Stibble's companion that's also capable of grafting body parts onto itself from fallen comrades. Instead of healing from it, they just kinda get extra attacks, because they're aggressive alien invaders from space. And lastly, one of my favorite illustrations of any companion is the PANGOLT. So for the Celestials, I looked at all the existing upper planes and the alignments that are tied to them, and then I assigned just a random animal that I liked to that plane, and then I tried to kind of redevelop that animal as if it were a member of that plane. This is obviously a pangolin from, if I remember correctly, Elysium. They're pretty heavily inspired by long-tailed pangolins because they use these massive tails as shields to protect vulnerable creatures. Pangols are sort of like paladins of protection who would readily die to protect a piglet, or as was added later in the illustration, this tiny little pangol. I actually used to think that pangolins were Pangolians, like Mongolians, but that's wrong. I was very wrong. So yeah, there's 5 of my favorite companions. I'll either have the artist twittered here or in the description. So a huge special thanks to them, and a thanks to all the backers. Both the book and this video wouldn't exist without either of them, so thank you. If you wanted to look at all 116 companions with all the other editions, the book is also in the description. Thank you for watching. And now for a bit of the bad news. With each of these videos, I'll be giving you up-to-date information on where we're at with getting these books to you. Right now, manufacturing is 100% done, and 90% of everything is in the same warehouse. With what we do with Eldermancy, obviously I want to be completely honest, and to be honest, we meant for everything to ship out of that warehouse at the beginning of this month. But when you do what I did and start a new venture with just about no knowledge going into what you're doing, there are going to be things that happen out of your control and just due to your incompetence from a lack of experience. And that's what happened to me. For example, when we planned fulfillment to be in November, that was all the way back in January. And the Kickstarter ended, which is the month that we all went into lockdown. That was unfortunate, and it does affect shipping. Long story short, the products are delayed by a rough amount of time. There are a lot of variants at play here, which is why I can't give you a specific date, because I can't tell. But I can estimate a little over 2 months from now. I understand that it's unfortunate. If I were you, I would be pretty pissed off. And I will wear that one. If you don't want to support anything that Eldermancy does in the future until they show proof of growth, that's fine. To reprimand what we can here and now, everyone who only got the physical copies are going to get free PDFs, just so that they don't have to wait that much longer compared to everybody else. As open information, pick and packing should begin before next month, and then it's off to the boats from there. If anything changes in either direction, look for updates on the Kickstarter. They post full updates every other week, and I'll be trying to do these videos, I think I have 3 more of them, and I'll add a little current update. So regardless of that, thank you for watching. There will be a new video out pretty soon. And happy Thanksgiving. That's also soon. Goodbye.